What's going on, guys? Today we are here to talk about North America and Europe getting too much favoritism in the RLCS. Let's talk about why I think that if no expansion in terms of majors, that NA and EU should probably lose a spot at the very least. And this is just going to be a conversation piece. No fancy graphics, none of that. We're just going to go right into it. Comment why I am wrong, please, or if I'm right, if you like it, and let's get on it. So, let's talk about what happened when we moved to this format, right? We went from NA in Europe having 4 spots each, and that was when OC and we had Sam. They both had 2 spots, and at that time, it's like, okay, that's a decent amount. We had a 12-team tournament. It was a very odd tournament, obviously. Like, the formats weren't fantastic because very hard to do anything that well in a 12-team format. But then when we moved into the new format with the expanded regions, well, then we ran into some hurdles, right? Where you got to add MENA, you got to add APAC. Do you have to add SSA? Maybe wait a year. Oh, wait, now that's turned into 2 years. And that's been a problem ever since, right? Where we have one region, SSA, not even getting major spots. They get 2 wildcard spots, but they don't get a lot of that international exposure. APAC, they only get 1. MENA, they only get 1, and that's 2 years in when they have proven they've made a grand finals appearance. They've made a top 4 appearance, 2 different teams as well. They've definitely proven that they deserve more spots. And then it comes down to how hard is it to take away spots from regions? And I bet that is very difficult because then teams or regions are going to feel like, hey, wait a minute, like you're taking something away from me. So I think one of the main issues was when we moved into the expanded regions format, we added a team to NA in Europe. And I always thought, I was like, I'm not a huge fan of going to 5 for NA in Europe because I'm like, 4 is plenty. Because we're supposed to be an international event. It's like the Olympics, right? Swimming, USA dominates in it. But they can only send, what, 2 racers, I think it is. I could be wrong, 2 or 3. I think it's 2. 2 certain events, right? And they have a regional, basically, to determine who those 2 will be. Could they get all 3 podium spots in a lot of these categories? Probably. But the Olympics does not allow it because it's more about the international play. Does the USA probably have the top 10 swimmers out of the top 20 in the world? Very, very possible. But that does not matter. They compete against each other regionally to see who's the very best to then play on the international format. And I feel like that's something that we miss a little bit by going to even more teams for NA in Europe. Is 5 is just, you've had 3 chances against your regional opponents. You're the NA 5 seed. Do you realistically have a shot to win this tournament? Very likely not, unless there's like a miracle case. The highest an NA 5 seed has gone, I believe, is 3rd or top 4. I can't remember exactly. It was, I believe, it was Space Station, Winter Major of 22. I believe it was 3rd. It could have been 4th. I can't remember off the top of my head. Then for your 5 seed, Moist, though, in the fall 23, or I guess fall of 22, but the 23 season, they made it to the grand finals as the EU 5 seed. But neither won. And I don't even know if that's really the point. It doesn't really matter like if they make it that far. Because there's 2 arguments, right? Do you want more international play so you allow more teams in to have a shot at this? Or do you want the very best teams, right? So if you want the very best teams, obviously a Moist is going to be better than an SSA, very likely, right? But should that matter? Like, I personally think it shouldn't because they've had 3 chances against their regional teams, and they are the 5th best. There's 4 teams better than them after basically 3 qualifiers. Do they deserve a spot? I don't know. Now, like in a perfect world, I would probably want an 18-team major. So I see a lot on Reddit. A lot of people are talking about like 24 teams and all that stuff, and I feel like that's just way too many, right? That's expanding way too fast. I think you can expand out 2 extra teams to 18 and give SSA a spot and MENA 1 extra spot for the time being, and not have to lose the NA 5 or EU 5 seed. I should have probably put that at the beginning because a lot of people are probably going to be like, oh, I don't know what Gibbs is talking about, and they're going to turn off the video before this part, but that's okay. Whoever's here, you understand. Throw it in the comments below. So I think that would probably be the ideal way to do it. And to explain that format, I'll probably do that in another video where I explain how I would do an 18-team major format. Because I have some thoughts and some ideas about that. But right now, I think there's a need absolutely for another MENA team and another SSA team. And going back to like the feels bad moments of losing a spot for a region, I think the only spots you could take away from is probably NA in Europe. Like the other one that is probably an option that people would consider is OCE. But I think if you drop OCE down from 2 teams to 1, it just will demoralize the entire region, and it's probably not going to help like in the long run. Sure, it's probably more fair to MENA. Like if there was a world where no matter what, next year it's either MENA gets 2 or OCE gets 2, I would want MENA to have 2 spots. That is for sure. But no one wants to take away a 2-team major region down to 1 team. That just feels terrible. And they've always had 2, and so on and so forth. So I think you could drop NA in Europe down because it would go back to what it used to be, 4 teams. Now, my other issue, there's another issue on top of this with the NA and EU 5 teams at majors, which, okay, fine. You want 5 teams at majors, they definitely probably have a better chance to win the tournament. They're 5 seeds than a lot of the other regions. I get it. But then, when it comes to wild card, they get another advantage. One, we have world region leaderboard spots for the top 8. When you have 5 teams in the tournament, it's a lot easier to climb those ranks and to at least guarantee at least 2. Normally, you guarantee at least 3, but NA did not do that this year. So it's very easy to do that because you just need 2 or 3 teams to pop off, and you're fine out of your 5. While the smaller regions only have 1 or 2 teams, they need a team to pop off with, which is a lot less likely, right? Because you only have 1 team in MENA, but they still find a way into that top 8. Now, that's a blessing and a curse, right? Because like the 1 seed is a little bit easier to get in from every region, but for MENA, it's still very difficult because they can't even bomb out of a tournament. While in OC and SAM, you could have 1 team bomb out and the other do okay, and you'll be fine. So MENA, hats off to them for 2 top 8 world region spots in the past 2 years. That is phenomenal. That is very difficult to do with only 1 team out of your region. So world region spots are ready. That they already have a huge bonus because they're sending 5 teams to a major, right? That's nearly 33% of the entire major is just your region. So you're very likely, unless you're really bad, going to get some teams to those extra wildcard spots. But on top of that, they also get 1 extra wildcard team anyway. And that's where I'm like, how do you solve that issue, right? Because you either can take away their major spots or you take away their wildcard spots. I think one should happen if there is no expansion, because like they already have so many advantages. They get 5 teams, so very likely to get the world region spots. Then you also just get an additional wildcard team anyway. So like everything is going for them. The hard part with the wildcard is we need like 1 more region. If we had 1 more region, we'd be fine. You'd get 2 extra spots in. Everyone would have 2, and we'd be fine. But for right now, if you don't know, wildcard spots just guaranteed. NA in Europe get 3. Every other region gets 2. So you could in the future maybe give it to like major winners, maybe. Who knows? Like maybe we find a way to. So it'd be tough to take away a spot, obviously, from a team. But say we could, right? Then you could do major winners. Like, oh, Europe won a major, so they get an additional team in wildcard. Oh, Europe won another major. Maybe that works, but at the same time, that could just be, oh, they have 1 really good team and everyone else isn't that great. So maybe that's not the best option. Maybe you just give it to the world region leaderboard spots, 9 and 10. Whoever has those just gets that extra team. And I think that's probably the fairest way, is just, all right, like if you're 9 or 10, you don't get the bye to the main event, but you get the extra wildcard spot. And honestly, that's probably the best way to do it. Because right now, it's just like, oh, NA in Europe, just get them anyway. Now, in the World Region Leaders Board spots, let me look it up real quick. I believe it would have been NA, and probably Europe as well for those spots. So let me see if I can see it. Actually, it would have been 2 NA spots. So NA would have got 2 extra teams to the wild card. So really 1 extra team based on what they have right now. Because they had 3 wild card spots. So what would have happened was Europe would have lost a spot, and they would have came down, and NA would have gained 1 spot. And I think that's honestly not a bad way to do it, because then it gives the smaller regions a chance to get extra teams there, like a better chance. But at the same time, because of how favored it is in North America and Europe, you're very likely to get those regions their spots back anyway, right? So I think something's got to change somewhere where, like, if there's no expansion, do you take away major spots from NA in Europe to fit in SSA and MENA? Or at their very least, do you take away one of their wildcard spots each and give it to the 9-10 on the World Region Leaderboard ranking, because they already have so many favoritism options, you know, they already get so many teams there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, am I crazy? Am I not? We'll have a future video about an 18-team major. And then maybe we'll also have, like, a future video about, like, say smaller regions, can they gain or lose spots, or can all regions gain or lose spots? And I think that one will come down the line later when I come up with like a fun way to do it, like a fun algorithm of sorts to figure out should they or should they not get spots, because I think there is a world where you can decrease EU and NA their 5 spots based on performance, and you could give spots to other regions based on their performance. So we'll have to figure that out in future videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I just wanted to get this off my chest. Just wanted to talk about it. It is time for the NA and EU favoritism to go bye-bye. They can still have some favoritism, but it's just so big. It's just so much. Murdy, what are you doing to me? Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.